teamwork. And part of what makes teamwork possible and what the ultimate goal maybe of teamwork is, and I'll try to stay as focused as possible. Success, figuratively or literally, is something that it's measured by reflecting on how close we come to achieving or surpassing our goals. For instance, if we work on a song, did we nail it or not? Did we get there? Did we really pull it together enough to where we have it in our heart and in our mind and tucked away in our soul? So when we're forwarding that song to you or that message to you, is it something that I'm putting out, or am I still taking it in? Am I still soaking it up, and I ain't got to the point to where I'm full enough to give that back to somebody else? Have I really filled myself up to get myself to that point to where I can pay it forward? Generally, when we're measuring success, we look at a starting point, like when we get a job, and we try to excel in our job. We might try to grow in our job. We might not. We might not like that job. Who knows? Try to get promoted. Try to make more money. We push and push, and we give all we got. We work more hours. We sacrifice time with our families, sacrifice time at church, sacrifice all kinds of things, emotions, you name it, we stuff it down. And a lot of the time it's in a hunt for success. And then we are measuring that success in that moment, maybe by the dollars, maybe not. But a lot of people might. And where we land at when we're pushing for that job is what we call success or failure. Our position in that moment, that's the measure. That's the measure of our success. We might be when we started some kind of task, we tried to apply some effort in the beginning, and then we step back after our effort and we try to assess how much success we had with that completion or with the completion of that task. And these tasks or goals can range from the trivial, like whether or not I can properly hang a picture or a piece of art for my wife in our house. My significant other, no matter how many times I put it up there and no matter how many times I reposition it, it just seems to always be a little crooked, or maybe she just has chosen that she don't want it in that exact spot, and I'm going to have to redo it anyway. That's part of the joy. If she's watching, I love you, baby. One time at our house we just moved out of, she had decided she was going to make this grand change, and our living room up to that point had this long, dark chocolate brown accent wall. I didn't even know what an accent wall was until Pinterest. But it had this long accent wall that we needed, and it was a big deal. And so, that made it for 3 or 4 years. And then it was time for a change. It was time for a different kind of deal. And so Heather decided that we were going to do this other color. And so I painted the whole living room. And it was a pretty big living room. And then when we were done, I was just about finished, and I was starting to round the hallway into the kitchen, and she's standing in the living room, and she's like, I don't love it. I got tile floors, or I might have collapsed right then, not knowing what to do, but the truth is, we repainted it, and it was wonderful, and it was beautiful, and it all worked out. And I felt successful. I felt successful. I felt like that I had come through in that moment, and I had achieved a level of success because she was happy with the living room in that moment, and the color all worked out in the end. And it wasn't the success in and of itself wasn't the completion of the task, but the bond between me and my sweetheart wife was really the success in that moment. It didn't have anything to do with the color ultimately. I didn't honestly care about the color one way or another. It don't really bother me much. But I do care very much about my bond with my wife. And so what I was doing in that moment is making sure that she knew a measure of support and a measure of teamwork, and that I was there to take care of her, and I was going to try to do whatever I could to satisfy that moment and have that task completed. But it can range from things like that, trivial stuff in the grand scheme of things, to more important matters like how to lead others, whether that's spiritually or professionally, don't really matter. How to support someone in a time of stress and emotional turmoil, how to advise or how to inspire someone when you have a youngster that's looking up to you and needing you to be a man in that moment, or needing you to be a good woman and a good lady, a good spirit-filled, led person. They need somebody right then to inspire them to something, to a direction. And it's incumbent on us as those leaders, as those people in that moment, to deliver that measure for them and to try to help them wrap their mind around. And then years later, I seen Bentley almost at birth. He was like trying to hit drumsticks. I mean, out of the gate. And then I tried to get him to speak one morning, and he was like, no way. Like, he would never do something like that. But now, I mean, he's almost a church leader already. And half the time, I can see him keeping a better beat than me. There was another youngster that was here one day, and I couldn't get this beat to this song right. And he was like, well, Brother Kelsey, it's like this. Dun, 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 dun. And he was doing it on the drum, and he was looking at me just like, but the truth was, in that moment, the success was the fact that he was checked in to what we were all doing. And I'm not talking about that we were making music. I'm not talking about that we were singing songs. I'm talking about that we were practicing on how to be better at praising God. And so in the moment, he's still elementary, right? So he's seeing the drum beat. He's seeing that. But what I see is success. I see success in the making. A measure's already happened in that moment. This wonderful boy is going to grow up maybe and be inspired later on. And then you fast forward 15 years, and that boy might be a youth leader, or that lady might be a youth leader, and who knows what, a singer, or you name it. And then we realized that way back when we had that opportunity, and when it was a really big deal, that task we had of leading that person in that moment was so important. And then I feel that measure of success. Maybe the measure is where we've come from in life to where we are, like literally. We come from this little hovel of a place, where you got stuff holding the cabinets up and you could see through the floors, to now we don't live like that, and we don't see through the floors no more, and the air works, and we got clothes to wear, and maybe that's how people measure success. And there's many that measure it in many different ways. And the success can be measured by people, like I said earlier, with commas in the bank account, or maybe by the type of house they have, or the type of car they drive, how many cars they drive, or how many cars they own. Maybe it's the number of friends that they can count. It's like, well, I got so many friends, I must be a success. I would probably take a stab and say maybe those are acquaintances. What type of friends we have could be considered a measure of success. Some consider a measure of success a state of mind. Some don't measure it at all. So for some people, it just ain't that big of a deal, no matter how you cut it. I believe that our help in the success of others is probably one of my biggest measures of success. And so it's a big deal to me that when I have somebody that's struggling with the situation, not the fact that I know how to help, not the fact that I know how to do it better, so I must be more successful, but the fact that I took the time out, or we take the time out, and we help somebody become better at whatever the task is. And then once they're better at the task, then I feel like I can look at that person and I feel a measure of success because that person's better. And so, at my job, I heard a guy say one time that he he had overheard someone saying how great they were because they were now a general manager at a store or whatever it was. And so he was asking them, well, you've achieved this level of supposed success, but how many people have you promoted? How many people have you led to success? Or did you step across people or not? Just earn it on your own and you just kind of stayed in your own little world? Or did you really attempt to bring people behind you and grow them as well? And so then as a business owner, then I can look around and I can go, okay, well, not only do I have a great situation because this guy was good and he promoted himself and he worked really hard and he became a GM, but now I'm even in a better situation because that guy was so good. He was so successful at his job that he was able to bring these other 3 people that run these positions too. So if I flip that back to a spiritual environment and I'm following, say, a pastor that don't care to do anything other than get in that spot. Once he's in that spot, he's not really going to do too much to try to raise up saints around him, try to raise up children of God and soldiers in our fight against the enemy and try to lead people to God, and then God by default doing what he needs to do. Is it going to stay that way, or am I going to have the pastor that I say we're all blessed to have? I want you to know I'm stating that. Like, I feel like he is the epitome of what I'm trying to get to y'all today, where he does every single thing he can to put people in positions to be better at whatever their venture might be, to the end of praising and worshiping God and getting to heaven. Every single time. If somebody says they can do this, then he's going to try it out. And he'll be there to pick them up if it don't work out. He'll be there to promote them if it does. He'll be whatever. We're supported from the beginning to the end. And I believe that type of support is exactly what I'm talking about as a wonderful measure of success. And if I was to view our pastor and try to measure him based on the success of the people he's pulled along with him and the other churches that have spun out of this church and spun out of his leadership, then I would have to say we got a pretty successful pastor and spiritual leadership indeed. In Joshua 1, 7-8, it says, "Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. Then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." Understand, what I'm talking about today don't have to do with finances. Please, please hear me and know that I'm not talking about that kind of success. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is getting people to God. God will take care of the rest of it. That ain't on me. That ain't on me. All it's on me is to try to get someone introduced to God, to give somebody that avenue, to free up something, to help put some. I don't break the chains. It's not me. That's not my thing. That's not what I do. But I can pull on them a little bit so that person can get a little bit closer. I can try to do everything. Make sure they feel supported in the moment until God is on the scene. In this situation in Joshua, God's telling Joshua, if you'll do what I say and don't turn one way or the other, don't listen, don't only listen, but live it, and you'll do very well with whatever you're up to and have success. No, he said you'll have good success. So where he speaks about turning not to the right hand or the left, I feel like he's saying don't be distracted and stay focused. Stay right here. Pay attention to what's going on around you. He says meditate day and night. Think about this. So you know how to do what you're told or how to even follow instructions. So he's not only trying to learn, but he's trying to learn how to be prepared to learn more. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's trying to put himself, I've been in training classes where they'll stop and they'll say, do you have any questions? Well, no, I don't have any questions. I haven't been around long enough to formulate a question yet. I don't know what you're talking about yet. It's still crazy to me. You're blowing my mind right now. My brains are all back here, and I'm staring at you through a computer screen. I have no idea of anything other than the size of your nose in this moment. That's it. That's it. You've missed me altogether. I'm trying to take notes, and I'm horrible at that. I write so bad I can't hardly read it most of the time. No, we've missed each other. It's going to take me some time to get to what you're talking about. And it's my job to apply that effort and apply that time because I know my situation. I know how I learn, and I know it's difficult for me. I know I have A, D, 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 and the letters only get bigger. It's bad. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. It's beyond what you could imagine. Sitting in front of a computer screen for me is like being in prison. It's like a death march for my mind. I'm just boxed in. I can't do it. And so the people giggle, because for them, they know all these things. For us, maybe we know the Bible. Maybe we know our relationship with God. And then we just go and slap them in the face with a Bible and just expect, that they got it. And we're like, hold on, why ain't you getting this? What's wrong with you? Are you kidding me right now? I've done told you the whole Bible in 2.5 minutes. You don't have this? Are you kidding me right now? And they're looking at you like, no way, I don't have this. Hear me, I don't get it like you got it. I don't have them lenses that you had that help me understand what you understand in this moment. They don't have your eyes yet. And they might not ever have your eyes. What they could have is theirs. And so when that successful moment comes, it's where that fruit has taken hold in their life and sprouted up more. And now there's someone else way over here. And so that's what God tells Joshua, is he says, earlier in that same verse, he tells him, every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that I have given to you, as I said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even into the great river, the river Euphrates, all the Hittites, and unto the great sea going towards the sun shall be your coast. There shall not be any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life, as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. He's telling him, if you'll just listen and get ready to listen more, prepare your mind to be better, not only are you going to make it, but the real measure of success in that moment was the whole entire nation, the whole church made it as well. And not only did they make it, but where they make it to, they're going to own it implicitly. Implicitly. They're going to own it outright. There ain't going to be no one can contest it. There ain't going to be no one that can take it. There's no one that can shake them down. There's no one that can steal this moment from them. Anybody they face, anywhere they walk, that's theirs to have. And in that moment, Joshua's true success is measured, but not by his own footstep. It's by their footsteps. So if I gave something to you today in the short, to make it short, I would say to just try to pay it forward. So if you find yourself spiritually moved and you know that God has done something for you, my next move is to make sure someone knows how I feel. Not in a tainted way, not in a down way. I don't need to testify for the devil because of how bad my life was or all that. All I need to do is show people openly who I am today, how I feel today, the direction I'm headed today. That's all I got to do. I just got to give them an opportunity. All I got to do is plant a seed. All I got to do is be excited about my environment and inspire someone to something more than their current situation. The success is in them. Other than making it to heaven itself, the success is not in me. I want to stand there and I want to worship God. I want to know what that's like one day. But outside of the singular, outside of the individual, the success is the church making it. The success is the people outside the church making it. The success goes on from them people because then they touch somebody. The success is outside the door. The success ain't in the house. It's not sitting here today. It's successful. It's somebody's success. It's God's success. But our success is outside somewhere. It's not sitting right here, right now. We got to go get them. Oh, Jesus. Got to look to see how peaceful in any situation you are and how many you can help to be peaceful in their situations too. And this peace in others, that can be a great measure of success for you as well. And in Mark 4:37, it's a common story people talk about all the time. Not quite like this, but that I've heard. But I'm sure somebody has. Mark 37-39, it says, "And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow, and they awake him and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." I'm sure they felt success right then. And I'm sure when the boat made it to the other side and it wasn't getting swamped no more, they were like, yes. You know, like, I made it. I made it to the other side. But I would gander that wasn't the true measure of success in that moment. They all felt good about it, but I don't think that was the true measure of success. I think here that the product or the fruit of the peace was the measure. And the example of the process to the peace was just as important as well, the faith that it took for those things to happen. The faith he was trying to illuminate to them, like, why do you not have any faith in this situation? So he was trying to teach them a moment where they should have had faith, but what he really did when he calmed the sea was made this huge example that they have, the leadership they have around them in the moment is far more than could ever be measured in just a wave calming, just making it to the other side of the river. I would almost, say to you that he might have said up front, he might have thought up front, you know what, we're going to go across this water. I can tell these guys ain't really checked in yet. I can tell they ain't totally understanding where I'm coming from. So I'm going to have to juice them a little bit. I'm going to have to put them in this boat and get them real close to feeling like something's going to go wrong. And then I'll fix it. Maybe they'll start really understanding just how big and how much gravity there is behind this situation. The real measure of that success was them starting to build faith. The peace, outside of that, the peace that was inside of them after that moment, it's a feeling it's an inward and outward perception of harmony. And harmony it's multiple different things working together properly. Will y'all help me out? Jim, Jaden, Hillary, please. I asked them to help me out today because I want to illuminate something and illuminate maybe, I don't know, maybe the success or the failure of a situation. Who knows how this might go. They didn't get to practice this. They're just trying to help me out off the cuff. And so what I want to try to do is show how when more than one thing works together and it does it the right way, something more happens. Something more, something grander than just the sum total of each one of them where, Jaden can pick up 100 pounds and Jim can pick up 100 pounds, but together they can pick up 300 pounds, right? Something inside the synergy of people working together that is more than just the sum total of each one of them individually working, right? When y'all ready, go ahead.
Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Lord, turn his face toward you and give you peace.
Hold on. Before y'all get all caught up in that, hold on. Just you.
Lord, bless you.
It sounds fantastic.
And
But it's more than incredible. It really is. Jaden's put a whole entire lifetime into building up to that moment to where he can be confident enough to sing to y'all while I'm talking over it. I'm not in harmony with him. I'm talking outside of what he's trying to do right now, and it's not great. And I don't have a great voice. So it's like double bad. But if I add in Hillary, go ahead.
Lord, bless you and keep you.
They're working seamlessly together now.
Shine upon you.
And something grabs me inside. Something more happens in that moment where the synergy of that harmony gets a hold of me.
Face toward you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. Amen.
We don't need drums. We just got to work together. Jesus. Thank y'all so much. Hold on. Don't run away. Don't run away. See when the synergy of that moment gets a hold of us. See that 300 pounds where it's 100 and 100 and 100, but now we're picking up 1,000 pounds. We're moving a whole room full of people with just a guitar and 3 voices working together. And that's all. And the truth is, the success in the moment, it's not the fact that Jim's got all the years working towards being a good singer and that Hillary's got all the years working towards being a great singer, musician, or Jaden. It's not the success of the moment. It's not the what got him here. It's all of y'all standing up when they're singing in harmony together, when they're working together, and what they can muster up, and the strength and the power and the peace and the fragility of it all at one time. Something incredible happens in that moment when people are working together for the good. It's beyond compare. It's immeasurable. It's way, way over the top. So don't forget how to measure success. The success, and I'm not saying they're not successful. Good, they're the best. But the success is measured out here. The success is measured outside the doors, and how many more people that they can pull. How many people can Sister Hillary inspire and Jaden inspire, Brother Jim? What if they don't work together? How about that? Let's try that. Jaden, you sing the blessing.
Lord, bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious.